that their son was dead again. So they had three wishes. One wish, 500 pounds, they lost their son. Second wish, they want their son back. They realize they don't want their son in that shape anymore. And the third wish, they wish he was dead again. So this is the result of all desires made and fulfilled in the absence of God consciousness. Yes, God fulfills all desires. But if He fulfills desires for you in absence of His consciousness, those desires which are fulfilled bring you only misery, misfortune and unhappiness. After all, what is a monkey's paw? The monkey's paw, when attached to the monkey, is a very useful thing indeed. For the monkey it's a very useful thing. But when the paw is cut off from the monkey's paw is separate from the monkey, it only brings unhappiness and misery. So also, we are a part of God, we are part and parcel of God. And when we separate ourselves from God by not remembering Him, when we separate ourselves from God by completely forgetting about Him, and we pursue our own petty desires in forgetfulness of God, then every desire of ours which is separate from consciousness of God is fulfilled like this monkey's paw. We fulfill the desires, but with every desire that is fulfilled, we get misery, misfortune and unhappiness. This is what I explained to my friend. I said, yes, your desires have been fulfilled without worshipping God, but are you a happy man? If you are a happy man, then why do you look so miserable? He said, yes, you are right, I am not a happy man. So I said, this is what I am trying to explain to you. That yes, you need not worship God, your desires will be fulfilled anyway. But although your desires will be fulfilled anyway, even if you don't worship God, those desires which are fulfilled in forgetfulness of God will bring you only misery, unhappiness. And finally you will wish that they had never been fulfilled. I have another friend, and he is a great devotee of Lord Shiva. He is a great devotee of Lord Shiva. Of course, I am also a devotee of Lord Shiva. But I am in knowledge of the fact that Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and by worshipping Him, you need not worship anybody else. But my friend doesn't understand that. So he was telling me, he says, I have worshipped Lord Shiva since childhood, and Lord Shiva has fulfilled all my desires. Every desire that I have, Lord Shiva has fulfilled. Don't think that Lord Shiva is called Bhola for nothing. He is easily pleased, he is Asutosh. So you pray to Him for anything, He will give it to you. And I am doing wonderfully. Just see my business. Since I have taken over from my father, I have multiplied it 4 times. I drive around in a Mercedes Benz. And I am doing so well. All by worshipping Lord Shiva. Don't you think it's time you change? He's asking me. Don't you think it's time you change? Switch over and worship Lord Shiva and you see the result. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, He explains the position of those who worship the demigods. He says, Kamaiste hitagnyana prapadyante nya devata. That those whose hearts are distorted by material desires, they worship the demigods. And he also says, Antavattu phalam tesham tadapi alpamedasham. That it is people of small intelligence who worship the demigods, because the fruits that they get, they are limited and they are temporary. I said, yes, you have worshipped Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva indeed has fulfilled your desires. But I explained to him, the fact still remains that although your material desires have been fulfilled, have you become a better person? By worshipping Him, have you become a better person? Have you lost lust, anger, greed, envy, illusion, madness from your heart? Or has it increased? In fact, I gave him the example. I said, who do you think is the greatest devotee of Lord Shiva in history? If you look up all the historical scriptures and you try to find out who was the greatest devotee of Lord Shiva, we find out that the greatest devotee of Lord Shiva was, yes, Ravan. So I said, Ravan was the greatest devotee of Lord Shiva. And Ravan was such a great devotee of Lord Shiva that nobody has ever been able to match his devotion to Lord Shiva. And as a result of the devotion of Ravan to Lord Shiva, what did Ravan get? Ravan got Lanka, city of gold. The whole city was a city of gold. He had the most powerful army. He had the most beautiful women as his wives. This was the state of Ravan. But I asked him, although Ravan fulfilled all those material desires, in fact, Ravan, let me elaborate further, wanted to build a staircase to go to heaven. Sometime back, I think there was a beat group called Led Zeppelin which had a song called Staircase to Heaven. So it was Ravan who wanted to build the original staircase to heaven. No need to perform sacrifice, just climb up my staircase and go to heaven. Furthermore, Ravan, he was so happy with the boons that were given to him by Lord Shiva that he tried to kidnap Parvati and enjoy her without Lord Shiva. This is the position of Lord Shiva. That not only he got all the material boons from Lord Shiva, but he wanted to kidnap Shiva's wife and enjoy her without Lord Shiva. This is what his mentality was. So I said, did Ravan become a better person for it? Or did Ravan become a bigger demon? So by worshipping Lord Shiva and fulfilling his material desire, did he become a better, purer, nobler, more saintly person, or did he become a bigger and bigger demon? He said, yes, it's a fact, he was the biggest demon. So I said, that is the result of worshipping the demigod. Because of demigod, they fulfill your material desire for all the devotion, everything that you do for them. But they are unable to purify your heart. They are unable to purify your heart. That although by worshipping the demigod, your material desire is fulfilled, simultaneously they are unable to purify your heart, so that what happens? You become a bigger demon. I said, on the other hand, look at the case of Dhruv Maharaj. Dhruv Maharaj wanted to have a kingdom greater than his grandfather's, and he worshipped the Supreme Lord with only that aim. But he was guided by a spiritual master who was Narad Muni. Therefore he knew whom to worship and how to worship. So being directed by Narad Muni, he worshipped Narayan. He worshipped Lord Krishna. And by the worship of Lord Krishna, by worship of Narayan, Dhruv Maharaj fulfilled all his desires. In fact, the Lord personally came to give him darshan. Lord Narayan personally came in front of Dhruv Maharaj. And coming in front of Dhruv Maharaj, he told Dhruv Maharaj that you have prayed to me and performed austerities and sacrifice and worship and devotion to get a kingdom greater than your grandfather's, and you have it. You shall have Dhruvalok to be named after you. But what did Dhruv Maharaj say? Dhruv Maharaj told him just one thing. Dhruv Maharaj told the Lord when he saw him, he said that Sthan Abhilashi Tapaso Sthito Aham, desiring a position, a material position, I perform great austerities to see you. Sthan Abhilashi Tapaso Sthito Aham, Swam Praptvan Dev Muni Indra Bhujam, and you who are not seen by even Indra and the great Munis, you have become present before me. Kacham Vichinvan Api Divya Ratnam, Swamin Kritharto Asmi, Varam Nayache. It's true, I was worshipping you with material desire. But now that I have seen you, I realize I was looking for broken pieces of glass, and I have now come across a jewel. So now I don't want my material desire that I asked you for. Now that I have seen you, I have no further desire for what I had asked you. Although I was worshipping you for a position, now that I have seen you and got vision of you, that desire is gone. I don't want that desire fulfilled at all. This is the result of worshipping the Lord. That yes, the Lord does fulfill your desire. But He fulfills your desire in such a way that along with the fulfillment of your desire, He also takes away the capacity to generate further desire. He fulfills your desire in such a way that although your desire is fulfilled, no further desires arise. It has been said in the Srimad Bhagavatam Satyam dishatya arthito ninam naivarthado yat punar arthito yata swayam vidate bhajatam anichatam ichha pida nam nij pada palavam. That yes, it is true that God fulfills your desire. If you worship the Supreme Lord, yes, He fulfills your desire. But He fulfills your desire in such a way that you have no further desire. How does He do that? Because although you don't want it, He gives you bhakti. You are worshipping Him for material desire. But although you are worshipping Him for material desire, although you have not asked for anything else beside material desire, He not only gives you material fulfillment of that desire, but He simultaneously gives you bhakti. And when you get this bhakti, you have no further desire. This is the nature of the Supreme Lord. That He fulfills your material desires, but He fulfills them in such a way that you have no further desires coming up. Actually, material desire is like an itch. Has anybody here had an itch? Please put your hands up. Okay, if you are feeling embarrassed, you need not do that. But I can see most of the hands went up. So everybody knows what is an itch. An itch is something that forces you to scratch. It forces you to scratch. In fact, it has been said that home is the only place where you can scratch where it itches. That's why people are fond of going home. So you scratch because it's itching you so much. And when you scratch, what happens? Pleasure. Wonderful pleasure. What release from tension. Ecstasy. Especially if you've been constrained from scratching until you reach home. After a long journey, you reach home and you scratch, and now you are in bliss. Because now you feel happy, satisfied, content. But what happens? Does that itch go away? No, sir, that itch doesn't go away. That itch comes back again. And when that itch comes back again, it comes back with greater force, it comes back with greater intensity. And so when you scratch it this time, you get greater pleasure. The greater the itch, the greater the pleasure when you satisfy it. And the more you scratch it, the more it itches. And the more it itches, the more you scratch it. And it goes on and on and on and on. So you might think how wonderful. But there is, what happens is that when you scratch it, sooner or later you keep on scratching a place, and what happens? It gets ulcerated. It gets infected. And after it gets ulcerated and infected, it becomes painful. So it starts with an itch which gives you pleasure when you scratch. The itch increases, the scratching increases, and eventually it becomes an open sore which is painful to you. This is material desire. Material desire is there. So you have to fulfill it. You fulfill it, and what happens? You feel good for the time being. And although you feel good, you feel that it won't come back, it comes back again. And when it comes back again, you fulfill that desire again and again until finally you get pain as a result of fulfilling desire. Therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Ye hi samsparsha bhoga dukkha yono evate adi antvanta kaunteya na teshu ramate buddha. A wise man does not take delight in pleasures of the senses because he knows they have a beginning and an end. Therefore, he avoids them. Because fulfillment of material desire eventually brings you pain. This is material desire. Now what if you have an itch where you cannot scratch? Suppose you have an itch somewhere low down on your back. And for the life of you, you simply can't reach it. You're trying in all possible ways, but you just can't reach that itch on your back. So what do? You might try to go to the wall and try to rub it. But that's not satisfactory. You need somebody to scratch it for you. So you go to your dear friend and you tell your dear friend, please scratch my back. So what does your friend do? Sure, you're a good friend of mine. What are friends for anyway? If I'm a real friend of yours, I'll scratch your back. So he scratches your back for you. But just suppose this friend of yours happens to be a skin specialist. You think he'll scratch your back? I have a very good friend who's a skin specialist. Suppose I go to him and tell him, hey, I've got a bad itch on my back, please scratch it for me. Do you think